Hey everyone, it's Denise Smith from All Things Small Business. We've been away, but we are back. Our productions are going to be less and less frequent. We're going to be on maybe once or twice a month. Today, I have a really cool guest, and she happens to also be a member of my family. So, what I want you to do is go tell a friend, join the conversation, and see you when we get back. Hello, Denise Smith. Welcome back. All Things Small Business. And of course, we got my theme music going on, Money, 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 right? Because that's what it's all about. It's more than just money, but you know, you can't be in business if you're not in it to make some money. So today's my first guest. Today my guest is Kiva Slade from the 516 Collaborative. And we're going to be talking all things small business. So let me bring her up right now.
Hey. Hey, I was like, wait a minute, don't end the music just yet.
I know. How's everything going?
Everything's good. It's good. And I love what you said in the intro, because if we're not in it to make money, then we're running a charity.
Yeah, right? Okay. So let's talk about you and who you are and how you're a business owner and what it is that you do.
Sure thing. So hello, everyone. My name is Kiva Slade. I am the CEO of the 516 Collaborative. And so I show up in two capacities in most businesses: as a fractional chief operating officer, especially in the online space. So coming in and serving as the right hand to the CEO, taking care of all things team, all things operations, all things projects, all things everything. And then the other capacity is really helping out with operations consulting, which really looks like that work can vary with online or brick and mortar businesses, really helping them get systems in place, processes in place, documenting what they do, which is helpful not only for their everyday business function, but hey, if you ever want to sell that thing, it helps you sell it for more money, because the new buyer knows that not all the information is walking out the door with you. So that's how I help businesses.
Okay, so how long have you been doing that? 516 Collaborative. Let's talk about the name. Okay.
Sure thing.
You know, because when you're getting into business, you know, you're starting a business, you know, you got to come up with that great name. What's the 516 Collaborative all about?
It really actually comes from part of Ephesians 5:16, which talks about making the most of our time. And a lot of times what I find with CEOs is they're spending time doing things that are not money-making ideas for them or money-making tasks. And that's where they're spending their time. So they're not making the most use of their time. So I've actually started in October 2019, and it's just been gangbusters since then, because it's really just, you know, serving other business owners in a service-based capacity, but helping them streamline things in their business, which in turn helps them increase efficiency and increase that bottom line.
Okay. So, all right. So let's talk about what happens when a client makes contact with you. What is it what's the process for you taking on a client?
Yeah, so it looks different for two different clients. So for those that are coming to me in a collaboration capacity, well, actually, I back up. Pretty much all clients start the same way, which is we need to have a discovery call. So they can typically book that on my website. And based on what they choose, they'll get a set of forms to complete just to give me additional information, make sure that they think through some things, that I make sure that, hey, this is a good fit, and we can go ahead and have that discovery call. That's a 25-minute conversation, where you're telling me a bit more about your business. I'm asking some additional questions, and then we're determining from there, do I have a service that actually fits what you need and will actually get you to that point? So that's pretty much how everyone starts. After that, it looks a little different for each one, in terms of their onboarding. But for most of them, I start with a strategic mapping session, which is a trademark process, which is 2 90-minute calls where we literally get into the nit and the gritty of the business. Okay, like we are uncovering all the things, finding all the cobwebs, pulling things out of all the cupboards, and doing all the things, and really looking at priorities in the business, whether those are financial, operational efficiency, maybe they need to scale their team. What does that look like? And then using that to set up a 90-day plan for them that also feeds into a year-long plan to figure out, hey, I need decision-based support so that you're not like here today, tomorrow that you're over here, the next day you're over here, that you can really stay focused so that you really achieve the things you want in your business. So that strategic mapping session is really critical to figuring out our next steps forward and how to do those.
Okay. And so who is your client base? Who are your customers?
So, and let's see, for the consulting side, it's really anybody who is like, hey, look, I need someone to come in and either guide me through this process because I have a team and I need you to just help me either know how to put the processes in place, guide me in helping them do it. On the other side, it really is business owners with a team, typically about at least 4 people, less than 10, and then with gross revenue about 350 and up. So first bucket, I can serve anybody. The second bucket, there are definitely some qualifications that need to be met.
So the second bucket, it sounds like you're very specific in targeting. You've got it narrowed down to almost a specific niche, but not necessarily. But so how did you come to decide that your customers on that side are going to fit into that square, if you will?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm certified as a director of operations, and that just really means overall that, hey, I can come in and serve in a few different capacities. And so when I look at teams and look at clients that I currently have, in most cases, people come into entrepreneurialism with different paths. Some people are like, they had a great idea. Next thing I knew, they were making money. And they were like, oh gosh, I have a business now. Other people are like, hey, I was a little more purposeful. I was thinking this is what I wanted to do. Now I'm where I want to be. And what typically happens is with business owners, they're visionaries. They didn't go into business to run a team. They didn't go into business to manage people. They didn't go into business to figure out, like, what are their KPIs? What are they measuring? What metrics are they using? But in order to scale your business, at some point, you have to take advantage and take, interest in those things. It's typically not an area in which an entrepreneur soars. And they're more into that, hey, what am I creating? What am I thinking about in a very much big picture? So they need someone to partner with them to take the big picture, translate it down to the smaller picture, and make sure that all the people on the team are executing that vision. So it really became it's a need really for a lot of business owners in order to move themselves out of the day-to-day and really into the lane they should occupy in the business. And so it really felt just like a natural fit to partner up with them in that capacity.
So you look at your services as a partnership with these companies?
Absolutely, because serving someone at that capacity, in many instances, their business is like another child, you know, and it's just like with that first child, you're like,
Sure.
you have a PhD, what can you do? Like, I need you not to just be the normal babysitter. And so a lot of times their business is in that same capacity in terms of how close they hold it. So it really is important to understand it as a partnership. We're in this together to do what's best for the business, which of course by default is going to make sure that what's best for the owner, what's best for the team, what's best for the clients or customers that they have. So it's really, it has to be a partnership. It has to be a level of trust. And therefore, you know, I only work with a certain number of clients, typically less than 3 in that capacity, because in order to be in their business on that day-to-day focus and have that trust with them, it takes time to build that relationship.
Sure. Sure. Okay, so you know where to stop.
Oh yeah.
So to speak. So you know when you can't take on any more clients, because some people tend to want to take on more and more and more, and they think they're gonna, you know, they can take on more than they can handle.
Yeah, and that dilute your efforts. Oh no. All right, I think I'll answer that question. No, there you go. You
keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
So yeah, you dilute your efforts though when you spread yourself too thin like that, and your level of service goes down, quite frankly, and then therefore of your reputation in most cases will go down, because you can't show up and be that reliable and dependable, and you burn yourself out. So you have to find what looks like balance on your end, or what looks like and if balance isn't your word, just what's the alignment that you need to have in your life for how much you can actually take on and actually deliver at a level of excellence.
Okay. So you doing what you do must take a lot of you must have some serious organization skills going on for you.
Yeah,
to do what you do.
Yeah, I do. I think systems is it's a love language for me. So helping business owners get those systems in place is super fulfilling. Having them find the right team so that they can build their vision and execute their vision is also fulfilling. I had a client yesterday. She's an executive coach out of New York, has this amazing business that's 13 years now. And I am blown away how she's been running this by herself. So I've hired her first executive assistant. And it's so amazing because hiring her executive assistant has totally transformed her life. And in that transformation, she said to both of us yesterday, she's like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, you have literally changed my life. You have shown me that there is a better way to do business. And that right there just warmed my heart, because she has a 7 and a 9-year-old, kids. And it's like, they're seeing mom now at normal hours sitting at the table. They're like, what's wrong, mom? But it's that's because of those systems. It's because of what we put in place that she's in her business that she doesn't need to do. And the system is taking care of those things, which frees her up to have more family time, or whatever that time is that you want to use it for. So it helps to be organized, but it also just helps to be a strategic thinker, which is really where my gifts to really just look at things, figure out what's missing, what do we need to get from point A to point B, and what pieces do we need to put into place there to make sure that we get there in a way that makes everybody still sane and not going crazy in the process. So.
Right. Okay. And, is it easy to sell the advice that you have to give to your client? Do you find that it's challenging to get them to a space or a place where they can conform to these new changes that you're recommending?
That's a really good question. For some, it is easy because they know that, A, it's not their gift. It's not something that comes naturally to them, but they know in order to grow, they need it. For others, it's harder because it's a harder way to put a pin on, say, the return on investment. You know, for a mom, you can be like, it's not like I'm going to sell it and say, you're going to be able to have more time with your kids. You know, that doesn't exactly translate to business and say, how does that impact my bottom line? So it can sometimes be harder. And I think a big thing about me is that I love to look at your business as a whole. What's working now? Like, we don't have to come in and burn everything to the ground. What's working? What's not working? What's somewhat working that we can just simply tweak to make it work better? And so really looking at it comprehensively to say, hey, you've done a great job. In most cases, people have been running very successful businesses. They might be working too many hours. They might want a little bit more time of freedom in their life, you know, so it's like, okay, how do we fix that and get you to what you need? So it can be a hard thing to sell at some point. But for people who finally start to get it, it's super easy. They're like, where do I sign? How do I pay?
Yeah. So what do you find in your clients? So if you're working with no more than 3 clients, how long is it that you're working with them? And then what do you find you're spending the most time working on in those businesses kind of in general?
Yeah. So time-wise, typically it is a length of time. We have a minimum 3-month engagement in which we start. And so especially in that bucket, like the consulting clients is 3 to 6 months. You know, and we can do more than 3 in that capacity. But over here, those 3, I find myself typically mostly working on team management because HR is just an area that it's not always a strength for some people, in having to deal with multiple personalities, keeping track of all the balls that might be in place and being juggled by multiple team members, especially now in a space where there's people who are working remotely. You know, it's not like you're seeing them to say, hey, Denise, have you worked on this, you know, whatever it is. So it's a lot of communication that needs to take place. I'm working in the project management tool, so everybody knows what their tasks are and what they're responsible for, what the due date is, and, you know, hey, following up, are there questions? Do you not understand something? Do you need something from someone else on the team that you haven't communicated? So it's really a lot of team management, but then also for many clients, it's the building out of processes and building out of measurements and metrics, so that they can track things. Like if you're sending out a newsletter, what are your open rates? How did this newsletter compare to the one you sent 2 weeks ago in which you lost 50 subscribers? Was there something in that one? What do we need to tweak in order to move forward? What's working on your social? What's not working on your social media? So it's a lot of looking at metrics and numbers and saying, what are these numbers telling us?
So you help out in the areas of social media marketing as well?
Yeah, too much. Not the marketing. I look at the marketing as a part of the business because it's part of what we have to do, unfortunately, nowadays for some. But really looking at the results of that and finding out, like, is this working for you? For example, some businesses, they find themselves spending a lot of time maybe on Instagram, but their client is actually on LinkedIn. So, you know, there's a disconnect there. If the people you're trying to work with are on LinkedIn and you're spending your time on Instagram, you're saying, well, this isn't working. Your people aren't there. Stop talking to the people over there. You know, so really providing strategy in terms of, hey, that's not where you need to hang out. This is where you need to hang out. So let's think about what that strategy will look like moving forward.
So do you help entrepreneurs get their businesses started and set up? Or are your businesses already existing? I mean, your clients, are they already existing businesses?
Yeah, mine are always normally just pretty much 99% already existing. Some are in their infancy stage of their business, and they know that, hey, I need to have this strong foundation, so I need you to help me get that. So we walk through what that looks like, setting up all the different parts. Because if you're thinking about a system, we talked earlier about like onboarding a client, that's a whole set of systems. Your financial is a whole nother set of systems, your marketing. So what are the things that you need to have in there documented so that it's running like clockwork? So Sally comes in to join your team. Sally can get to work making things happen without a lot of downtime or skip time. So that happens a lot with people who are looking to hire their first, in many cases, virtual assistant or their first team member. And they're like, I want to have this stuff in place so that I'm not really missing a beat when that person comes onto my team. So yeah, I do help people that are in their infancy stage. It's really with that understanding of, hey, this is your back end needs to be, really strong and set up in place in order for you to start to run like the cheetah that you want to run like.
Yeah. Okay. So on the consulting side, I would imagine that are any of your, well, not on the consulting side. Let me go back to the other side because I forget, what do you even call that side?
Retainer side.
Okay. So on the retainer side, are any of your clients ever government agencies?
No, I had one who worked with governments and agencies, and he also worked business to business. And I had a consulting client who actually did a lot of work with DC government. So it was, a lot of things that we talked about in that, but he also served other businesses. So.
Okay. So, but on the consulting side, have you ever gotten into the government contracting arena?
Yeah, I'm still debating if I want to. Our cousin Jeff he's always in my ear about that.
Yes. You can count me in for that too.
Yeah. So, and I think that there's definitely a space there because the government's always looking for certain things. So being sure that you have those infrastructure pieces in place in order to work in that capacity, is definitely helpful. Considering that I have a master's in public administration, worked in the budget office at the county, worked on Capitol Hill, you would think that I would maybe parlay more of that experience.
You worked in the budget office for Prince George's County?
Yeah, under Doug, when Wayne Curry was our county
Okay,
executive.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I was there with Stanley Early. Brian Ashford was the deputy at that time. And so that was my first job out of grad school, was being a budget analyst for the county. I had the fire department. Let me see here. Park and planning, the health department, the library. I'm trying to think. I think I had one more agency. So I was always at budget hearings because the library was always a hot button issue when it came to funding.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so when I left the county, I actually went to Capitol Hill, and I was a legislative director for former Congresswoman Juanita Millender McDonald, who was out of Carson, California. She subsequently has passed. But so I also worked for her. And then I worked for the governor. I had an internship at the Maryland Governor's Office of Children, Youth, and Families under Glendenning, Housing Authority of Baltimore City. I definitely.
So you've got your fair amount of
there.
Right. So you've got your fair amount of government experience. Yeah. Now it's time to get the government to hire your company.
Yeah, that's something to definitely think about. And I've been looking at my certifications, and I said, well, when I need that, I know who I'm calling. That is going to be you.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we got to make sure those certifications stay up to date, right? Yeah,
that's right.
And they're so easy to get now in Prince George's County. So and because you're a Prince George's County based business, see, you should have never told me that, because now I'm gonna be calling, I'm gonna be pushing you. You got
all right, come on.
Yeah, right. So on the consulting side, would you say that those customers or your clients on that side rotate a little bit more when you're rotating more frequently? Do they end up needing to come back?
They do, actually. Yeah, they do actually wind up coming back. Because sometimes what we've decided is we're working on 3 things, and it's like we've accomplished those 3. They're going to go out now. They're doing more things. And then it's like, okay, 3 months have passed, 6 months have passed, and we're like, I got questions. I'm like, all right, let's re-up and let's talk through that. And so it's, business is always evolving. COVID wasn't expected. Post-COVID isn't even fully known what that's going to fully look like or shake out to be.
Right.
So it's really important to have someone that you trust, that you're like, okay, I know you're staying abreast of the things that are taking place. So let me swing back by and let's talk through this part of where I am now in my business.
Okay, so let's talk about COVID though, before we go, because life was different before COVID for your business, right? And for the needs of your clients. So what did you find that you had to help your clients with during COVID?
For a lot of them, I had to help them with hiring. A lot of them were already online based, and they saw an explosion in people wanting their services. And it was like, we need more people in order to make this come to happen. And then on the consulting side, I found a lot of clients who were just like, I'm kind of on social. I got a website. People aren't finding me. What do I do? And because there was a shift at that point for a lot of people to say, how do I show up for my clients and still deliver at a high level, but now utilizing Zoom or Google Meets or, Microsoft Teams? And how do I actually communicate? How do I automate some of the processes? Because maybe now people aren't coming into your office. Maybe you need a system that will allow people to sign their contracts electronically. Maybe you need a system that shows you how to better take payments online. And you're like, what are my options? Maybe you have a course, like one of my clients, he had a photography. He does photography and videography. He was like, I think I want to put this online as a course, because he did a lot of work with young people. And now it's like, how can I make this as kind of like a product that can be sold over and over again, that people will just look for online and purchase? So here are the course platforms that you can choose from. Here's your, highlights of each one. Here's your cost that you're looking at. This is what you're going to need to do to utilize each one. So it was really for those in the consulting space, like, I need to shift online. I need to replace revenue that is not coming right now because of COVID. And for the other ones, it was like, I need more people because I have everybody and their mom knocking at my door now trying to throw money at me.
Right. I got a course that I need to put online. Yeah. What are some of those platforms I can use?
Yeah, Member Vault is the one that I highly recommend. It's totally free for the first 100 people that actually purchase your course, which is pretty unheard of for a lot of course platforms. Yeah. And it allows, it has
to change any minute. That's going to change any minute.
Well, actually, that's really has been a part of their just business philosophy foundation. Because in a lot of cases, you're trying to see, is it something that people want? Do I need to tweak it? Is it really addressing a need? So the first 100 people are free for you, and it has gamification. So, people can gain extra points, and then you can unlock the next module. And people like that kind of stuff now. That's why Candy Crush and all kinds of other games are important, So Member Vault is that platform and it's easy to use. It even has an affiliate system. So if you have other people who have taken a course or might promote it for you, that you've said, hey, you can get 10%, 20% if you sell this, So it has all of the bells and whistles built in. But hey, you get 100 people to test it out before you have to give them any money.
That's awesome. I'm going to try that.
Yeah. And their customer support is like literally amazing. Their team is super friendly. They're very social justice aware. And so, I mean, you're supporting a company that's like, look, we're trying to make a difference. And this is one of the ways we're trying to make that difference. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So do you help people like with their websites and all of that? Because I know you mentioned, I got a website, but is it really working for me kind of thing?
I let them look like I normally help with in the terms of Google Analytics. Like if I tell everyone anything, if you have a website, set up your Google Analytics. Find out how you need to put that into your WordPress, Squarespace, Wix site. Because one of the things about Google Analytics is it's not retroactive. So if you put it on there today, when you start your website, it's starting to collect data. A year from now, you're like, oh, I should have put that on. That's a year of data that's gone. So I do look at their Google Analytics. Where is your traffic coming from? How long are people staying on your site? Are they primarily viewing your site via mobile device or are they on their desktop? Because that makes you think about what do your images need to look like? How fast do they need to load? Because we got the attention spans of guppies. If it's taking too low, they're moving on to the next site. So I do look at the Google Analytics. I can direct them to web designers who can help in those other more detailed capacities. And I think the other thing though is like setting up a Facebook pixel. If you ever want to run a Facebook ad, it's like Google Analytics. It's not retroactive. So setting that up when you set up your site, creating your Facebook business manager, you may never run an ad, but if you decide to, you at least have data of people who have come to your site that Facebook is tracked, and now they can actually target those people. You can't do that a year from now.
Setting those kinds of things up, like that I don't know about the Facebook pixel. I don't even know what a Facebook pixel is. I know that setting up that business manager stuff is like, I need to pay somebody to do this for me because I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it can definitely be a process, but putting that Facebook pixel, and it's really just what Facebook uses to track us, and if anyone's in shock right now, Facebook does track all of us. So, when you're somewhere looking on Amazon at toasters and then you're on Facebook and there's toaster ads, it's because the toaster people in Amazon had a pixel and they were like, Denise was looking at toasters. Let us show her toasters now in her Facebook feed. So it's really that kind of tracking so that when you want to run an ad, you can target your audience because Facebook knows who's been to your website, who's liked your Facebook page, all of that kind of information. But Google Analytics is actually a lot quicker to set up. It's really easier to set up, but it really just provides a lot more data than most websites general kind of analytics provide. So it's super helpful.
Yeah. So say, for example, so I have a photography business, right? And at first I started out at, doing weddings and portraits and things, right? But then when I discovered the world of certification and getting into the, government contracting arena, I started doing work for construction companies who were who were bidding on contracts with the government that required progress photos. So I got away from the weddings, not that I wouldn't still do them, but I would still do events. But, I don't do the weddings and the portraits as much anymore, as much as I would do construction photography or progress photography, right? So my website, was just that before construction came into my life, right? So I would focus on putting up these beautiful pictures and, of people in portraits and weddings and all of that stuff. But once I got away from that, I just threw up another page that said, here's something else I am, ready for, kind of thing. I guess I just wonder, is there something more that I would need, someone like that would need to be doing, once they've changed their service? Because the question is, when you're in government contracting and that kind of business, and progress photography is a very specific niche. So, it's not the everyday average person that's going to be looking for that service. So I don't really need to market to the public anymore. And it's like, do I really even need to market to my clients? Because they're getting my information off of the directories that I'm on just because I'm certified in all these places, right? So do you think that that is an area that still needs strength, or,
Yeah, because it's so niche, it's kind of interesting. I think one of the things that you probably wouldn't need to have such a web presence. I think it helps to have a website. I think it helps to have a Facebook business page. Why? Because for a lot of people, they're check marks. Just like you being in the directory is a check mark that you're legit. That's what a Facebook business page and a website also do for people in their mind. It gives them a sense of comfort. She's not shady. She actually's done this. And your website could actually have testimonials from previous clients that talk about your progress photos, so that if I'm looking through the directory and it's between Denise and Michelle, Denise has a website, Denise has a Facebook page, Denise has testimonials here from previous clients. Michelle has none of the above. I'm likely going to go with Denise because this is a real thing for her. I don't think she just started. She seems to be doing this. And it's like, okay. So it does provide a level of legitimacy to a lot of people, and it gives them a sense of comfort. But also, one of the things, it's like when you post the pictures, all pictures have, what's called alt text, so people with disabilities, they will have that text that comes up because they're not going to see the picture. But in that is where you put the name of your company. That's where you put keywords like construction progress photo or construction progress photographer. So therefore, anytime you're posting anything on your website, if it's a blog article or something else, you use those phrases because that feeds Google's keyword search, which says construction progress photographer Maryland. And it's like, hey, the only person using those words is Denise. So who's going to come up first in Google search? Denise. And most of us ain't going past page 1 or 2 on Google search. So if you're like on page 50, someone may not find you. So there is still a need to market yourself, not necessarily for client attraction or not for lead generation, just for the sake of, hey, it's just backup information. And if someone is kind of randomly searching, they're still going to find you. And that's what you still want to happen.
Okay. Kiva, this has been so helpful. I feel like I just got some free advice from you. I probably need to pay you write a check.
No, you don't. Because I know that I'm going to be hearing from you on my other stuff that I need to get moving on.
Listen, thank you so much. This has been a really great conversation. It almost sounds a little bit technical to me, but I think that there were some key buzzwords in there that really resonate with business owners. This has been really helpful, and I hope that as people watch this video, they'll know who to call when they need some help and some guidance.
Yeah, so, give me a call. Thank you so much. Don't worry, I definitely talk it down so that it won't be so high level.
Oh yeah. This was great. And you also go live on LinkedIn as well, right?
Yeah.
How often do you do that? So people,
I try to do it at least once a month, but if not twice a month, to just start doing that more frequently. So yep, you can find me on LinkedIn. I normally also stream it to Facebook to my business page there. So yep.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thanks for just taking the time to come on here today. This has been really great, and I'm so excited for you.
I am too. I'm so excited that we can do this. So, family and women supporting women, we got this.
Absolutely. So, I guess what we'll do is we'll chat later, and we'll keep in contact and get more updates. I may call on you for some more advice when business owners, try to, reach out and stuff. I'll connect.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks so much, Denise.
All right. Well, Thank you and have a great evening.
Bye, you too.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me take that off. I want to just say thank you to Kiva Slade. Man, I love that name. That's my family name. Slade. Such a great family, right? And such a great woman to have in our family, right? And such a wealth of knowledge. So I just really want to thank you so much for, taking the time, for being on the show. Such great advice. I will be back here in 2 weeks, Thursday, with a new guest with some more advice. So make sure you tune in, set your calendars, put it on your calendar, and make sure you just tune in on two Thursdays away from today. I am going to go out with a little bit more Chuck. Also make sure you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Denise Smith. I'm out there, your advocate for small business owners, making sure that you are prepared to do business here in Prince George's County. And I'll catch you on the rebound in 2 weeks. I think when I take my picture down, you're not gonna be able to hear me anymore. But I'm just gonna leave this up so that you can see.